What's up, world? Uko here from Better Therapy Now. Welcome to lesson one of the purpose driven mindset, understanding purpose and its connection to value. So, we want you to understand that purpose anchors decisions and actions. A great book recommendation is Simon Sinek's Start with Why. So, this book is dedicated to or directed towards business leaders, but it can also be individualized and used for our purposes as well. What it says is that most organizations start with what? Like, what do they want? They want to make more money. And they're thinking from the outside and then working their way in. But he says inspirational leaders start with why, starting from the inside, the core, the root cause, or the root purpose, or authentic purpose, and they work their way out. Ask yourself this. Ask yourself what your goal is, and then ask yourself why you have that goal 5 times as an exercise to get to the root of why you have that goal. What we want you to do eventually is to separate yourself from superficial achievements and superficial purposes. It's important to say what you want. It's important to express your desires without feeling ashamed. Once you can clearly articulate your why, you'll notice that your environment changes. You'll begin to inspire people. You'll draw the people that support your why towards you, and you'll push away the people that don't support your why because that stuff is closely aligned with your value set. People ultimately don't care what you do. They care why you do it. And that's how you're going to be able to inspire people. This can also be applied to the individual. It can be applied to you individually. Your why, which is that internal root cause or reason why you do something, must be aligned with your core values, which will make it much easier to find your authentic purpose, which will give you the firepower to push through failure and be resilient, which will allow you to be consistent. And only if you're resilient and consistent will you reach your goals. You can't reach your end goal, you can't reach success without making decisions. The why is aligned with the limbic brain, which includes emotions and decision making. Your what is aligned with your logic and facts. So a why might be associated with some sort of greater good, but a what is like the specific details of a goal. For example, I want to make more money, or I want to be wealthy, or I want to get promoted, or whatever it is. Why equals limbic brain, emotions, decision making. What equals logic brain, so logic and facts. You make decisions with emotions and then you rationalize them with facts. So if you can't make decisions, if you don't have a why, if you're not engaging the limbic brain, then you don't make any progress. And when you're not making decisions, like when you're afraid to make decisions, that's because fear is playing a big role. So remember this part. If you don't have a why that seems larger than you, then your fears are going to seem larger than life, and you won't be able to make decisions. You need to trust yourself and be loyal to your purpose. You kind of have a relationship to your purpose and a relationship to your ultimate goal and a deep connection to your why because it's in line with your purpose and your values. Your how, like how you're going to accomplish something, and your what, the thing that you want, must consistently reflect your why, because internally you're going to be reflected or conflicted if it doesn't consistently reflect your why. You really shouldn't be doing this by yourself either. You should be bouncing ideas about your why off of somebody else. Give somebody a chance to challenge your why. This is exactly why we do the curiosity mindset before doing the purpose-driven mindset, because your why probably needs to change or at least be adjusted slightly. It would be a failure at this point for you to have a superficial why. So put time into developing your why, and then find somebody that you trust that understands what you want or what you think you want so they can challenge that why. The worksheet defining your identity through core values will help you take the first steps to finding those truly core values. What came up in previous lessons? Think about that. Like, what continued to come up in previous lessons over and over again? What examples, what emotions, what values consistently came up? Because you've been asked this multiple times throughout this course. So now you should have at least a few things that you can play with, or a smaller list of values that come up repeatedly. So this will help you in this exercise. The first section of the exercise is reflect on beliefs and priorities. So you want to be as specific as possible in this. You want to use real life examples. Don't just settle for the first thing that comes to mind. You want to take your time with this worksheet. Write what comes up, be specific, then go away from the worksheet for a little bit and come back and reflect. And also do this worksheet 2, if not 3 times to see, is it exactly the same each time I do it, or is it a little bit different? In the section Explore Your Values, I listed a whole bunch of values, like 15 or 20 values with definitions. Read each one of those values and then challenge those definitions. Like, would you define family as that, or would you define achievement the way that I defined it? And then once you do that, highlight all the values that resonate with you. In the very next section, you're going to narrow your list down to 5 or 7. This is going to be like a draft of your core values. Take each value that you selected and think of your day-to-day actions and really focus on your actions, your behaviors that you're doing from day to day. And then with each value that you selected, see where or annotate where your actions line up with those values and where your actions contradict those values. And then ask yourselves why. Why are your actions aligning, or why are your actions contradicting your values or the values that you chose? In this section, we identified and developed a draft of your core values. And the idea is that you're going to continue to update your core values as you grow. In the next section, we're going to see how our actions align with our true self.